Hello everyone, welcome to Core Concepts Pilates and Rehabilitation here in Cape Town, South Africa. I'm Karmia and this is my friend Lazan. We are going to do an intermediate MAP movement class. MAP movement stands for myofascial activated posture. So we are going to use myofascial releasing techniques using the spiky balls and the roller to create space in our body and then move into that space to improve our muscle strength and endurance. So we are going to use a TheraBand as well. So we've tied our TheraBand so it's in a loop and we're going to keep it in that loop, tied loop. So just tie it around your knees, double knot it so that it's nice and firm. We'll use it a little bit later on. And then if you have some spiky balls or tennis balls lying around the house, we're going to use that just to release some areas, and then you will need a foam roller as well. So we are going to focus this MAP movement class on the lower body, and then we'll do a follow-up MAP movement class where we focus on the upper body as well. So let's start by rolling out our feet. So use whatever ball you have available, tennis ball, golf ball, spiky ball, and you just want to roll out the whole sole of the foot, focusing on those areas that are feeling tender and tight and sore, but you must be able to breathe when you roll out your feet, or whenever we roll out or do a fascial release on any other part of the body. So try not to hold your breath. And then also try and put your heel down and just roll your foot from side to side. So you're really rolling on the ball of your foot. You might even feel some stretching in your ankle joints. And then see if you can spread your toes out while you do that. It might feel impossible, so try not to grip onto the ball for dear life. And then just give your foot a quick little roll again. From the heel, arch of the foot, all the way to the toes, there where your toes attach to your foot. And then before we do the other foot, just take a moment, stand with your feet next to each other on the mat. You can even close your eyes for this. And just notice how the 2 feet feel like now. You'll feel that the foot that you've rolled out feels completely different to the foot that you haven't rolled out yet. And you want to feel that nice, warm, fluffy sensation that you have in the foot that you've rolled out. And the other foot might feel stiff and cold and hard. And let's do the other foot as well. So our feet tend to get tight because we wear shoes the whole day. So the muscles and the joints in our feet don't move as much as they should. So rolling out the feet is a good way to get that mobility back, moving the fascia, moving the muscles. Also a good idea is to walk barefoot. Working on uneven surfaces, walking barefoot like walking on the beach or walking outside to get all those muscles and joints to work. Good. And then once you've covered the whole foot, sort of explored the foot and notice how the 2 feet might feel different. Put your heel on the floor and the ball is against the ball of your foot, and then just almost like a window wiper, you roll your foot from side to side and try and spread the toes out. And your fingers might also want to spread out while you do that. It's almost impossible to do the foot without the fingers wanting to help. Good. And then again, notice if you feel a bit of a stretch over your ankle joint as well. And then we can just give the whole foot a roll from the heel. And everybody is different. So you might feel more tenderness on your heel. Some people might feel it more in the arch of the foot, and some people might feel it more towards the toes. So there isn't a right or a wrong spot. You just want to find your spot. Excellent. Good. And then let's just take a moment again. stand with your feet next to each other on the mat, maybe close your eyes, and just scan over your feet. Feel both soles of the feet on the floor. Can you feel all 10 your toes? Are they planted on the floor? Can you feel the ball of the foot, the arch of the foot lifted slightly off the floor, and then both your heels? And you might still feel a difference in the 2 feet. One foot might be taking more weight than the other foot, and that's completely normal. So just take note of that. Good. From there, we are going to sit down on the mat. So we're going to do a few releases before we get into our exercises. So I've got a slightly bigger spiky ball for the next one. You can continue with the ball. If you only have one ball, that's fine. We're going to roll out the inside of your calf muscle, so your tibialis posterior. I want you to sit in a mermaid position. It doesn't matter which side you do first. And then put the spiky ball on the inside of the leg that's at the back. And you want to lift your foot and knee off the floor so that all the pressure is on the spiky ball. And then roll the ball up and down along your shin bone. And that I also want you to think about is moving your foot. So pointing and flexing your foot as you do that. And you'll probably find some tender spots. And you can put as much weight on the leg as you can handle. So you can push with your opposite arm so that you've got more weight going there. If it's too sore, just lean away from it. And remember, you must be able to breathe. So I know this might want to take your breath away. And if you find a really tender spot, see if you can pause there and just point and flex your foot a few times. And then you'll sort of get that shearing sensation in your inner calf. And you can really roll from the ankle all the way to the inside of the knee. So cover that whole area. So the reason why we are rolling out the feet and the tibialis posterior muscle, they are part of your core line. So if there is some sort of stuckness or tightness along a fascial line, that could have an effect on your movement. So if we release and activate these areas that might be slightly neglected, that will help us with our movements. Good. And you might get weird referral pains down your leg or up your knee. That's fine. Don't worry too much about that. Good. I think that's enough pain on that side. Let's try the other side. Good. So again, you want the spiky ball underneath the leg that's pointing to the back. And Lausanne is demonstrating nicely from the side. And then as you roll up and down, try and move your foot with you. If the coordination is too much, just roll up and down until you find your spot. And then you can point and flex. You can even sort of, if you can, draw a circle. That's a little bit difficult. And then you find that aha spot. Good. And when we do a fascial class like this, it's good to think of your body as a unit. Sometimes we tend to isolate muscles or areas that we want to work separately from the rest of the body. When we do a fascial class, it really helps us to think of the body as a unit, everything working together, everything is connected to everything through the fascial system. The muscles communicate via the fascial system with each other. So our body is one unit. Good. And from there, I think that's enough. We can take so you can do that if you want to do it longer, you are welcome to do that longer. We are going to put our spiky balls out of the way. We are done with them. And then we are going to grab our rollers. So you can just pop your rollers underneath your knees. Lie on your back on your mat. You do need a little bit of space overhead just so that your head isn't wedging into the wall. And then I want you to lift your pelvis up and pop your roller in underneath your sacrum. Good. And then we're going to lift the legs up to a tabletop position, and I'm just holding onto the side of the roller just so that it doesn't escape. So let's just start by taking the knees over from the one side to the other side. And what I want you to find with this movement is any tender spots along the glutes, so outer buttock. And if you need to move the roller slightly higher or lower, so I'm actually going to move mine a little bit lower down, you want to find those, like I said, those sweet spots, those tender spots. And let your breath guide your movements. Make sure that your neck and shoulders are relaxed. You're not scrunching them up. Good. And let's come back to the middle with our legs. So we are going to keep our left leg bent as it is. And then I want you to lower your right leg down along the mat. Good. So I want you to feel a stretch over the front of your thigh on the right-hand side. Now be mindful that your right leg is not pulling out to the side. So your heel is in line with your buttock. If you want to, you can grab your left knee and pull the left knee in towards your chest with your left hand. Keeping your right heel on the floor, you lengthen your leg away. You breathe into your lower abdominal so that you feel that nice opening over the front of the right hip. And then if you've got some space, reach your right arm over your head. If you don't have a whole lot of space, just bend the elbow, that's fine. And just think about lengthening from the armpit towards the foot. And we keep breathing. And a long exhale. One more time. Good. And then you can slide that leg up, and we're going to switch sides. So hug your right knee in. Lengthen your left leg along the floor. Try and get your heel on the mat. And then reach through that leg. You can hold onto your right leg and maybe reach your left arm over. If you've got a shoulder that's not feeling great, you don't have to reach your arm overhead. And it's almost like someone is pulling your left foot away from you and your left arm away from you. So you are stretched out over your roller. If you feel it in the lower back more than anything else, just tuck your tailbone in. A little bit of abdominals will help take any strain off the lower back. Let's hold it there for one more nice breath. And then hug both of your knees into your chest and just allow your lower back to sink towards the floor. Okay, now let's just put our feet on the mat for a moment and move the roller slightly further down towards the tailbone. Not so far that it escapes, but it's not in your lower back. And then I want you to straighten your right leg up to the ceiling and just lower and lift that leg up and down a few times. And see if you can get your heel to the floor. If you are very tight, you might feel some pressure on that right buttock. Don't worry about that too much. And then I want you to lower your leg down so that your foot is in line with the roller. Then we are going to take our right leg out to the side and then back in line with your buttock. So we're just moving the leg. We are breathing while we do this. If you want to hold onto your left knee, you are welcome to do that. So you will feel that right inner thigh stretching a bit. So now we want to increase the pressure onto the right glute. So as you take your right leg out, roll onto your right bum so your left hip can lift, and then roll yourself back. So as we take the leg out, your left buttock, will lift, and then we roll back. And if your roller starts to escape, just pop it back in. So now the focus shifts from the inner thigh, and I'm feeling a whole lot, so it's difficult to breathe and talk. So hopefully you feel that glute at the back. Now let's stay to the side. Straighten that right leg more. So make sure that you're not all the way onto your right hand side. You do have a bit of weight on the left. Now straighten that right leg more, and we lift the right leg up using your inner thigh. So it's small lifts. Up, up, up. Good. 4, 3, 2. Keep your legs slightly lifted. Straighten that right knee more, and we circle the right leg for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Before you reverse, straighten your leg again. Reverse your circle. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, and you'll feel that glute. 3, 2, and 1. Roll back and hug your knees into your chest. Hello, glutes. So make sure that your roller is still in a good spot. And then right leg bent, left leg up, and then just lower and lift your leg a few times. And just make sure that your roller is on your buttocks, not on your lower back, but it's not escaping from underneath you. Okay. And then I want you to end with your your left leg, your left foot in line with your left hip. And then you can hold onto your right knee if you want to. And just take your right leg out. Feel that inner thigh stretch. So I'm not rolling with my movement yet. I am just moving my left hip. And 2 more. And 1 more. So the next time we take the left leg out, roll onto your left glute and then roll back. Good. And feel, so keep your foot in line with your roller. And then you roll onto the glute and back. Good. And if you feel that it's different, move your leg around until you can find a tight spot on the hip joint. So remember, your right pelvis is allowed to lift off the roller. Good. Now the next time I want you to stay on that left buttock, not all the way on the left hand side, more weight on the left, and straighten that left knee, and we lift the left leg up for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, lift and hold. Straighten that knee and we circle 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Straighten the leg. I know that leg is shaking. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Reach the leg and then hug both knees into your chest. Make sure that your roller is still underneath you, and just allow your tailbone to tuck and your lower back to stretch. We are going to keep the roller underneath our bodies for a moment, but I want the roller higher up. So you can maybe just put your feet down for a moment and move the roller higher up so it's there at the junction where your pelvis and your lower back meet, and then lift your legs up to tabletop, and you can hold onto either side of your roller. So your legs are going to move with your pelvis, and your pelvis moves with your breath. On your exhale, you're going to let your knees drop towards your chest, and you are curling your tailbone in. And then on your inhale, arch your back and move your knees away from you. The aim is not to touch the floor, but you want to feel those tummy muscles work. Exhale to curl the tailbone in. Inhale to arch, and feel that your abdominals are controlling the movement. If you feel the lower back taking strain, then you've gone too far. Then you should stop your movement slightly sooner. But it's that eccentric control of the abdominals and the inhale that helps you to control your movement. 2 more. And don't be too hasty to come back. So lengthen through your inhale. And exhale. Now pause with your knees to your chest. Straighten your legs to the ceiling and flex your feet. So heels to the ceiling. Keeping your knees straight. Just allow your legs to fall towards your face only as far as your body allows. So don't force them. Curling your tailbone in. Then on your inhale, lower both legs. Keep them straight as far as your abdominals can control the movement. Exhale from the tailbone, curl and let your legs drop towards your face. Inhale to lower your legs away from you. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. 2 more. Inhale. And it depends on how long your breath is. So if you've got a long breath, if your inhale is longer, your legs are going to stay a little bit longer away from you. And then just bend your knees into your chest. Good. Feet on the floor, and you can take your roller out from underneath you. Pull yourselves up. And then you can just put your roller to the side. We're not going to use the roller. Keep your band close by. We'll use it in a moment. I want us to do one more stretch before we start with our exercises. You're going to stand in 4-point kneeling. And we are going to take our right leg out to the side. So if it's possible, put your foot down on the floor so that your baby toe is touching. If you are really tight over the ankles, you can maybe just put the inside of your foot so that the bunion and the inside of the heel touches the floor. So I want you to shift your weight just slightly to the back heel. So not sitting down all the way, a little bit of a backwards lean, and you can stick your tail feathers up towards the ceiling so that you are hollowing out your lower back. Then you should already feel the inner thigh stretching on the right hand side. Then we're going to take our right hand and just thread the needle, not going down to the floor. Keep your left arm straight. And it should almost feel like your inner thigh is tearing off. Now stay there and just breathe. If it's possible, push your baby toe on the right into the floor more. Keep sending your weight slightly back. Tailbone up to the ceiling and just reach with your right fingertips towards the left. 2 more breaths. 1 more breath. Good. And then slowly come back. And we'll repeat this on the left-hand side. So stick your left foot out to the side. See if you can get your baby toe down on the floor and notice the 2 sides. So one side might be more difficult to get that baby toe down. Shift your weight towards the right heel, tailbone up to the ceiling, and then reaching your left arm underneath. The arm doesn't even have to go on the floor. If you want to reach it up in the air or if you want to let it rest, that's fine. Turn your head with your left arm. So your head isn't stuck in the middle. Push that left baby toe on the floor, tailbone up to the ceiling, and we stay there for 4 deep breaths. Inhaling and exhaling. Two more breaths. And 1 more breath. Good. And then slowly untangle yourselves. Good. We are going to grab our TheraBands. So remember, we've tied them up in a loop, and I want you to take them over your feet and pull them up over your knees so that they are in the fold of your knees. And then you can bend your knees and your feet are about hip distance, maybe even a little bit wider apart, so that you feel some tension in the band already, and then you can lie back down on the mat. So let's just do a pelvic tilt and arch. So as you exhale, you want to curl your tailbone in, flatten your lower back on the floor. So it's abdominals and squeeze the glutes. And then inhale to arch the back. So relax your buttocks and let your lower back just pull away from the floor. Exhale to tilt. And inhale to arch. And I want you to feel that you keep the tension on the band. So don't let your knees flop in and out. And use your breath. And just notice, what does it feel like in your lower back? We've mobilized the back with the roller underneath our back, so it should feel nice and mobile. Good. Then, on your next exhale, I want you to curl your tailbone in and squeeze your glutes. Just lifting your pelvis off the floor. But I want you to tuck your tailbone in more, squeeze the glutes, and you are still exhaling. Now keep this pelvic position, and then on your inhale, lift your pelvis up to the ceiling. Keep the tension in the band. Push with your arms into the floor and pull your shoulder blades together, lifting your chest bone up, and see if you can squeeze and lift more in the glutes. And then exhale to roll down. When you get to the floor, arch your back for your inhale. Exhale to curl your tailbone in, squeeze the glutes just to a slight hover. Finish your exhale first. Inhale, lift your pelvis, wrap those shoulder blades together, lifting your hips up as high as you can, and then exhale to roll down. You want to feel glutes mainly. So if you feel the lower back, we inhale, arch on the floor. We exhale to tilt. If you feel the lower back, when you get to the top, just drop your pelvis 0.5 centimeter and tuck your tailbone in again to engage glutes, not so much the lower back. And then exhale to roll down. Arch your back on the inhale. And then exhale, curl your tail in. Finish your exhale, squeeze those glutes. And we lift and we stay at the top, If you need to wiggle yourself and adjust yourself, do that. Make sure you've got that tension on the band. All we are going to do is we're going to shift our weight onto our right leg and then onto the left leg. When you stand on the right leg, turn your head to the left. And when you stand on your left leg, turn your head to the right. Do this slowly, so don't rush. When you shift your weight, can you feel your glute connecting? Or does it feel like there's nothing happening? Just take note of that so we can sort of see which side is your weaker side, which side needs a little bit of TLC. And it might surprise you which side is the lazy side. One more time. And then you can come back to the middle, inhale, and then exhale to roll down. Arch your back on your inhale. Exhale, tilt your pelvis to a tilted position, squeeze the glutes. Inhale to lift. Use those arms, squeeze and lift to the glutes even more. I want you to bounce your pelvis up to the ceiling. So it's quite a fast bounce. Up, 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 up. Every time you go up, you want to squeeze your glutes more. Keep the tension in the band and your glutes should already tell you that they are there. Breathing all the while you do that. And then see if you can still turn your head from side to side. You're not putting any strain on your neck muscles. Then see if you can keep bouncing and maybe lift your toes up so you're standing on your heels. If you don't feel your glutes anymore, put your feet back down. You are straining the shin muscles and it takes the focus away from the glutes. If you, however, still feel your glutes, keep your toes lifted and we bounce for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Put your feet down, inhale, and exhale to roll down. Release your pelvis, inhale, arch. We're going up one more time. Exhale to tilt your pelvis, squeeze the glutes, finish your exhale. Keep your tucked tailbone, inhale, lift. Use those shoulder blades. Now, I want you to lower your pelvis 0.5 centimeter down and release the band a little bit between the knees. And as you lift your pelvis, push out into the band with your knees. So lower and release the knees, squeeze and lift. Down and up. Now, as you do this, don't do it too fast. Make sure your big toes do not lift up, because you are lifting from your glutes and not from your ankles. And we do 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and roll down and hug your knees in, and your glutes should be there. We are going to keep the band around our knees, and I want you to turn onto your side. Good. So both your knees are going to be bent. You can support your head. If you need a pillow underneath your head or a towel, then you can put that in. And I want you to use your top hand for some balance. Make sure that your spine, excuse me, spine is in a long line, so you're not in a rounded position. Your feet are in line with your buttocks, so your knees are pulled back a little bit towards the back, not forward. I want you to lift your top leg up, so your foot and your knee, until you feel that there is some tension in the band. Your foot is completely relaxed, so we're not pointing or flexing the foot. And keep your knee lifted, so keep the tension on the band, and then you're just going to flop the lower part of your leg up and down. So you want to work from the hip joint. It's internal and external rotation. And your foot is really floppy. There's no tension there. And you want to start to feel the glutes working. So, my coordination is not so great. Keep the tension in the band. So don't let that top knee drop. You will feel that the band pulls you down. And then, if you still have the coordination to do that, actually, let's cut the coordination out. Bring your knee forward. And then do that same thing. And then you will start to feel all kinds of hip muscles working that you didn't know you had. Then pull your knee towards the back and do that same thing. Good, and you should be able to breathe while you do all of this. And then we come back to the middle and we lower the leg down. Good, sit up. We swing the legs round to the other side. Unfortunately, we've got 2 hips to work. Or fortunately, we only have 2 hips to work. Okay, so make sure posture first. So is your spine in a long line? Knees are bent, your top hand is in front of you. And then we're going to lift that top leg up. Okay, relax your foot. Make sure that your foot is relaxed. And then start to sort of just throw your leg up and down. Keep that tension in the band. As you do this, you might actually feel the bottom glute also working now, because it has stabilized and it's already tired from doing the first exercise. Breathe while you do this all the while. And then let's bring the knee slightly forward, keep the tension on the band, and then keep flopping your foot up and down. Ooh, and it's really working into those glutes. And then we pull the leg slightly behind us, and you will feel that the one leg's coordination is much better than the other side, which is also normal. Breathing while you do that, if you still can breathe. And then we bring the leg all the way down. Good. So from there, let's take the band off. And I'm just going to redo my ponytail as that's sort of disintegrated. So we are still busy with the glutes. So stand on your hands and knees on the mat. Try and keep your feet flat. If your toes cramp a lot, then you can tuck them in. I want you to bring your hands closer to your knees than normally, and then stand on your fingertips. So your center of gravity is towards your heels. If you lean too far forward and you take your hands away and you want to fall on your face, then you know you are too far forward. So I want you to round your spine into your cat stretch. See if you can squeeze your glutes even more. So you want to get that connection in the glutes with your weight more towards your legs. Then all we are going to do is we're going to stand more on the right leg and then stand more on the left leg. We're not lifting up any part of the body, we're just shifting from side to side. We are seeing which side of the body's glutes are working and which side not. So the easy thing to do is to automatically shift your weight over your fingers and to let go of your cat stretch. So keep your spine as round as you can. Now stand on your right leg. We're not lifting up anything. See if you can sit back again towards your heel. Now from there, on your inhale, lift your tailbone, lengthen your spine into your cow stretch, so extend your whole spine, and then exhale, cat stretch. Inhale, extend the spine, and make sure that your weight stays over your right leg. And just by doing that, you will start to feel your glute on the right working, hopefully. And round, and extend, one more time, and round, and extend. Good, find a neutral position. Try and keep your weight a little bit more over the right leg, tuck your toes in, and then go onto your haunches. If you need space, just scooch forward. Good, and then we come up so that your heels are on the floor but your knees are bent. Your spine is still rounded. You are allowed to keep your fingertips on the floor. Lift your left foot up to the back so your right knee is bent and you are standing on your right leg. Your fingertips are just there for moral support. You should feel that right glute working. And we are going to bounce the right knee 10 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Put your left foot down. Come up a little bit until your knees are just soft. Twist your chest towards your right leg. Your left hand grabs onto your right calf and your right hand grabs onto your left calf, and you are pulling your nose towards the outside of your right knee until you feel a stretch on the left side of your lower back. Now hold that and push your hips to the right. And breathe into the lower left side of your back. A nice quadratus lumborum stretch. One more time. And then we come back, put your fingertips on the floor, roll down onto your knees. And we're going to do this whole sequence on the left-hand side. So 4-point kneeling with your fingers closer to your knees, feet flat if possible. Shift your weight onto your left knee. Weight is to the heel and your spine is in a rounded position. We inhale to extend the spine and we exhale to round the spine. And extend the spine. Make sure that you're not leaning forward. And again, take note of how the two sides might feel different. Let's do 3 more. And you'll feel that your abdominals actually also work quite hard with this. And let's end in our rounded spine. Tuck your toes in. We're going to roll over our ankles onto your haunches. Then just come up until your heels can go flat. Knees are bent. Your weight is still on your left leg. Fingertips can rest on the floor. If you want to be brave and you want to keep them in the air, that's fine. And then we bounce that left knee. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Put your right leg down. Straighten your legs more. Grab onto the outside of your left leg with your right hand. And grab onto your right calf with your left hand. Pull your nose towards your left knee. Push your hips to the left to stretch the right side of your lower back. And we breathe. Two more breaths. And then come back. Go onto your haunches. And then put your knees down on the mat. So from there, we're going into a plank position. We are going onto our elbows on the floor. I want you to try and keep your hands separated. So your thumbs can point up or your fingers can go down, but try not to interlace your hands so that you clench on your fingers. Move your knees back just so that you feel you shift your weight more over your shoulders. Try and get an alignment where your pelvis is sort of in line with your shoulders. If you need to lift the bum up a little bit, that's fine, but I don't want the pelvis lower than the shoulders. Extend one leg out to the back, tuck your toes in on the floor. On the floor. There you go. Very advanced plank that Lazan wants to do with her legs up in the air. And then we add the second leg. Good. Shift your weight a little bit more over the shoulders. Now squeeze your glutes. Tuck your tailbone in. You want to make your buttocks as tight as you possibly can. Now while you've got that squeeze, I want you to breathe into your tummy. And hopefully everything is shaking. Two more breaths. Squeeze those glutes. And then put your knees down just for a rest. So the next one, we're going to add a little bit of a jump to this plank position. When you do the jump, try not to let your buttocks bounce up and down. So you want to keep your shoulders and your pelvis in line with each other. So it's actually a very small and controlled jump. So let's find that plank position again. Extend one leg out. Extend the other leg out. Weight goes over the shoulders. Drop your pelvis in line with your shoulders. And we're going to jump, putting the feet wider than the shoulders. And then jump back. 10 of them. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Knees together, knees down. Sit back in your resting position. And that'll get your heart rate up. So from there, we are going into our knee box movement. So I want you to sit on the mat in your, with your legs in front of you. So your feet are about hip distance apart, hands over your knees, and I want you to exhale to round your spine. So your eyes look towards your belly button. You curl your tailbone in as much as you can, finishing your exhale. Then on your inhale, we're going to rotate both our legs over towards the right into your mermaid and then arch your back. That's your inhale. Exhale, roll the legs back. Finish your exhale, curling your tailbone in. Over to the left, inhale. Exhale, back to center. Inhale, over to the right. And you will feel that you are going to walk off your mat. And that is fine. And let's just pause in the middle, scooch back so that we've got our mat underneath our knees for the next one. So from there, we want to inhale, take our legs over towards the right-hand side again. Using those glutes that we've warmed up, push your pelvis forward. Stick your bum out to sit on the floor and then exhale back to center. Inhale to the left and thrust your hips forward. And then exhale, come back. And inhale over and push those hips forward. And sit back and round the spine. And push the hips forward. And sit back. Good. Now, before we go again, we are going to pretend that we don't have a left leg. And we're going to try and push up using only the right leg. Okay. Just to make it more fun. So let's exhale all of the air out, round your spine. Inhale, take your legs over and see if you can stand up. Not very successfully the first time maybe. And then put your leg down and then exhale back to center. We go over towards the left. Try not to use your right leg and your hands, and if your head is against the wall, that's also fine. Put your right leg back. Good. Exhale in the middle and over towards the right. See if you can lift that left leg up. Find your balance. And then put that left leg back down. Over towards the left. Come up. Okay, we'll have to go to the other side one more time so we can get up because there's no space for Lazard. And then exhale back to center. Over towards the right. Now take that left leg, put it on the floor, and then you stand up. Easy way to get off the floor. So we are feeling much warmer and those glutes are awake. So join us next time where we focus a little bit more on the upper body. Bye.